Well, hello there, YouTube. A little after work excursion here. I'm just south of Castle Rock, and gonna wind up Headquarters Road here and go on South Silver Lake, then Spirit Lake Highway, and then 505. Thought I've taken this before, but I haven't done it in quite some time. Geez, I think last time I did this was months ago on the RTS Special series. So I thought, I haven't taken the old street glide through here, so why not? Looks like there's tar on the road or something there, doesn't it? Must have been a lot of trucks coming through here. Probably got a logging project or something going up here. Doesn't appear to be wet or anything. It just, whenever you see black on the road, it just makes you a little nervous. Is there oil in that? But a lot of this blacktop looks like it's been repaved. It always baffles my mind when they repave a road that's in perfect shape. Years ago, I used to go trail riding out here. Actually, it's just right out here, and this was all, they ended up logging it, but there was some cool trails that went out there, and it ended up in this little at this waterfall at this creek. In fact, if you dig through some of my old pictures, you'll see me in 1979 on my 78, actually it was a 77. It was like if you look those things up, the XL250S, if you look it up, it shows that the 4-valve head, the new generation, oh look at this, a passing lane on it. They never had that before. Wow. Isn't that all kinds of fancy? And it says there's another one in a quarter of a mile. Interesting. This is the steepest holy heck hill. There's not enough traffic out here to warrant passing lanes. In fact, I see more traffic. Look at that. Sure as the world. Who knows? They may have big plans for Headquarters Road that I'm not aware of. You know, I keep rolling this thing into turns and thinking I'm going to have to correct or it's going to do something unpredictable, and the thing just tracks like it's on rails. Wow, that thing stops. I took this road once when I lived at Silver Lake, and what's weird, the owner of the store I was working for was in the shop today. We were talking about old times. And his name's Dave, that's all I'll say with that. But anyway, super nice guy. But anyway, we had a demo XJ650, I forget what the call letters at the end were, but it was the Seika Turbo. And I made it from my house up here at Silver Lake, which is on the other side of Silver Lake. Silver Lake's kind of below us and to the east. But anyway, I made it from my house to the shop in Longview in 12 minutes. Holy crap, was I hauling ass. Man, I was right in my racing days, you know, and have a little, look at that. That is to die for right there. Wow, that's so beautiful. That old house sitting there. But that old house has all kinds of character. Oh, Volkswagen camper special or whatever they call those things. Have you guys noticed that cattle guards nowadays are just lines painted on the road? So all the years that they made these elaborate cattle guards All you had to do was paint the line on the road, and that was enough to trip the cows. They wouldn't go across it. Yeah, that was a little ATV trail right there. There's some kids with ATVs around here. Oh yeah, the last time I came around here, I went around the bend, and a guy texting or something didn't see me till the last second. I was on the Spider. It's one thing about Harleys, they make a very distinct and solid shift. Wow, look at that, how, well, you can't see it, but Mount Adams is lined up just to the left of St. Helens there. Wow, that's creepy. I don't think I've ever seen them lined up. It seems like when I see St. Helens, I can't see Adams in the background. So it looks like a logging thing going on. Well, this has been logged for a couple of years now. But look at this. It's like a skidder out there. Probably logging deep in there. I'm probably about to be floored by some more land destruction here. But man, it's a very, oh wow, it's down to 73. I was about to say it's a very comfortable 79. I actually turned, hey, any of you guys with these street glides, these little, I don't know if I can get the camera in there to see, but these little vents that you can turn all around, that is well worth the 140, 160, whatever them things cost me. Those things are priceless. Oh man, this is the first time I rode it today, and I've been playing around with those things. And you can roll them up, and actually it takes some additional negative pressure off of the shield. You can turn them up so they blow right in your pits, nice and comfortable like. That used to be the old, look, it's even still paved. The old road used to sweep around and come through there. Wow, that was weird. I never noticed that it was, the old road was still there. I'm sure I glance fast enough you won't see it. There's a very hazy Mount Rainier that, hell, I can barely see it, so I know dang well y'all can't see it. Sitting right there. You know, the other bad thing about the camera sitting on the side here is I can't, when I'm pointing, I'm pointing in the wrong place. I'll go, oh, look over there, you know, and you're like, what's he pointing at, you know? It's easy to point with the chin. The only thing with the chin is you gotta make sure you drop your point down a little bit, because I point right at it and that's above it. It looks like I'm pointing at the sky when I'm pointing at something on the horizon. That's where that guy came out on that KTM, followed me down the road and went bombing around me here at the end, and kind of went running after him down the highway. What a moron. If I remember right, he didn't even have a helmet on, did he? Man, I gotta say, it's kind of nippy up on this hill. Showing 74 now. It's amazing what elevation does and how quick it can do it. But you know, you take advantage of that in the summertime when it's hotter than hell, and you go, well, let's go up to the mountain. Get up to the mountain, it's only like 7 degrees cooler or something, you know. When it gets to a certain heat, it's just hot. Elevation, you gotta get some extreme elevation, you know. 5,000 feet isn't enough. I hope that shield's not too loud being open, because it's very comfortable. Plus it's tinted, and these shady areas I can see better. Man, this thing just floats. There's just like no effort. You do the line of sight of where you want to go, and the bike just kind of follows along. I'm used to that with sport bikes, you know. Cruisers don't do that. You're constantly paying attention and correcting, and you know, it has its own, you know where you want to go, but the bike seems to have its own little mind, and that's distracting, and it pulls you away from looking at, you know, your sight path or where you want to go. You know, always just watch where you want to go. know, going down the freeway with this thing is just a nice steady, this little roaming, you know, it's a nice deep bassy sound. And I don't know why, you just notice it when you're going down the freeway. And I'm thinking, geez, that's actually making quite a bit of sound. You know, when a car passes you and it's louder, it's almost like it has like a mild exhaust on it or something. Thinking to myself, that's not exactly quiet. So what's this thing going to be like when I get the cables and I can put the exhaust and air box on this thing? It's probably going to be quite loud. But it won't be any louder than the Road King, and the Road King was very soothing. Its sound, its note as you rode along. You know, it's loud enough, it's got that Harley sound, but yet it's quiet enough that it's comfortable. No earplugs required or anything like that. This old barn at one point was about to fall down. I come by here one day and they actually painted it red back then. And painted it red and did whatever internally there and got the thing straight. Actually, I think they knocked a bunch of the siding off and replaced some of the beams and then put a fancy tin roof on it. Hell, that's probably been, jeez, that's been 10 years ago. Because my daughter was living up in a little house up there. This cute little 2-bedroom. I don't think I've ever been in a house that was that small. But it was deceiving. I mean, you know, it was a tiny house. But you got inside and everything you needed was right there. You didn't feel cramped or limited for space. It was just her and her boyfriend at the time, and our very first grandchild. Who's already 10 years old. That's creepy. Man, this thing's got such a wonderful pull. Just so soothing and surprising at the same time, you know, for a stock bike. And you just grab a little handful and just pulls, and it's like, yeah, like, what the hell? What is this all about? Wow, I was about to say you could use a turn signal, but that turn signal is so weak that the sun being behind me kind of washed it out. That's why I think all turn signals should be, you know, like Japanese, where it's an orange turn signal mixed in with the light. That just stands out so well. But hell, even most of the Japanese cars don't have it anymore because they're built here in the States. Almost crashed our minivan right into that bank right there. I literally saved it at the last second with the whole family in the car. My entire family. And I had our oldest and our first grandchild. I have 4 grandchildren now. Isn't that crazy? Ranging from literally just a couple of months to 10 years. It's crazy. This is the first rest area where Giant Midget Moto and myself stopped. In fact, this was our first stop of the day. I snicker. I'm constantly surprised by how quick this thing stops. It just, I mean, it is literally one finger on the brake lever and this thing woes up like real fast. It's kind of weird for a tourist to be roaming around up here this time of the day. Man, out on those boardwalks and along there's a, well, it looks like a dike, and what it actually was is where the old Long Bell railroad tracks came across the lake. Well, I guess that would be considered part of the lake, but it's more like marsh grass. That's where we parked back there. Sequest State Park. Man, I remember driving home at night, coming past that thing during the camping season, and smelling all the campfires. God, it's so soothing. I remember every time I smell a campfire, it just brings me back of camping as a kid and camping with my parents. Because when you're camping, you know, you always have a fire. You know, I think I actually drove through here and talked about this. Probably because that drive past that campground reminded me. There's that resort I went down, and the old guy gave me all the weird looks. Even asked me if I was a guest or whatever. I think I was on the Iron or the 72. I think I was on the Iron. If you guys ever, if I ever talk about that cat that the mother dropped and left in the middle of the road one night when I was heading home. So when Kelly and I were dating, and I lived up here, it was my parents' summer home up here. It was just a vacation home on some land that they had up here. When I, you know, I moved out, it was my first time moving away from home. Me and my roommate, which were, you know, just the best of friends now, but I think we got on each other's nerves or something. I'm not sure what it was, but I moved out and stayed at my parents' house, or their little vacation home up here. It was just it was an old single wide mobile home that was just wedged in. I mean, it had been there so long that the trees like grew up all around it, which is really cool. And it was old and well built and comfortable and all woodsy, and it's a perfect little vacation home. And had our own boat landing and into the lake, and it was awesome. It was a big old chunk of land. Now there's like 8 houses. My dad ended up selling that land. And I think it's like 8 houses sitting on what was our land out there in Silver Lake. And that is Silver Lake. If you look through my pictures, you'll see tons of pictures taken across this lake. Because I'd ride my motorcycle or in the car or whatever, and the mountain would look cool, and I'd stop and take a picture of it. And that's a boat rental place that's in a bunch of the pictures. Mount St. Helens RV Resort. A lot of bass in there. They have a big bass tournament out there every year even. I've stood up on that hill a couple, 3 years, right up there on that field right there. And they used to have this great big elaborate, that resort. I'm not sure if there's a big fancy restaurant there, but you'd come by there, you know, on the weekends, and that parking lot would be packed. I'm not sure it's anything more than just an RV resort now. I have no idea. But anyway, they would put on an incredible fireworks show. But well, I stood up there and I've taken many thousands of pictures of fireworks from that vantage point. Because you were over the people, and we just, where the little rocks are up on the little hill, you just set up the tripod right there and just take these, like, I forget what they were, about 8-second exposures or something. I don't know if they were that long, but anyway, I don't remember what the camera settings were. That's sad. But anyway, a lot of fireworks pictures were taken from there. Kids were all young. daughter's teenager, and this is a K through 12 school, and my first two daughters graduated from there, and then when we moved to Toledo, my two boys graduated from Toledo High. Man, they were so upset when we moved, and I know that feeling too, because my dad worked for an international paper for years, and we're always getting transferred. I always, people talk about being military brats and getting transferred all the time. About the time you get close with your friends, your parents uproot you and move, Well, I can relate to them people, because it was looks like a $8.99 or something there. But anyway, I can relate to people saying they're military brats and never had a home. I mean, we had home and we'd stay there long enough, but it was one of those things, you became so close with people that, man, that really hurt when you just uproot and you move so far away that you can't go visit these people. Of course, we moved up here, we're old enough, at that point that, our parents would fly us back to Texas and we go see all our friends for a week or two, and that was magical. Man, I'll cherish that time forever. That was just the best thing to do during the summer. I would just cherish that time. It was so great. Just hang out with all your friends, and that was just wonderful. I gotta let you go. That's my phone ringing. So we'll chat with you here in a bit. Hello there, YouTube. I am back. I just got interrupted by a phone call. I'm on, I was doing a vlog and came to an abrupt end. So for some reason my phone, wow, is that car going slow? Oh, he's pulling over. For some reason my phone in the scene to default to like full volume, and it is so loud. This is Fincus, as you can see. Fincus Road. That was weird, it was showing a crossroad. There ain't no crossroad out there. Oh, it's some little road that runs off to the side there. I'm zoomed too far out. I'm going, wait a minute. That's State Route 505 that's out over there. Oh, I didn't realize I was actually paralleling the thing. Interesting. Yeah, I'm zoomed too far out on it. But it's weird to call it State Road 505. Is what the map calls it. We refer to it as State Route. State Route, State Road. I guess either way, it's SR 505, isn't it? Beautiful road through here. Now I've got a new fear for deers that you wouldn't believe. After that damn, that was an awfully big doe to have, or to have spots on it like that. Look at this. Look at all the leaves on the ground already. We're going back into that, fall and August. Remember last year? Because it was kind of warm last year too, and all the. Remember in August I was going, oh, what the hell? Already the leaves are blowing and everything. Although I hate that because that's a sign that winter is slowly coming to an end. But at the same time, it's very soothing and beautiful. I love the fall. And the falls are so long. Where I lived in the South, that was just the best time ever. The humidity was gone, the temperatures dropped. It was just wonderful. Wow, it's beautiful out here. Yeah, my old field, she don't have the yellow flowers down there no more, does she? I love that, the light sneaking through, and that's so beautiful. There's another shot at Rainier that in super view is going to be all but impossible to see. She is just to the left of the taller trees there. That's pretty hazy. That's probably a real good chance you're not going to see that. Man, you got to watch having those passenger pegs down on this thing, because you know how you roll your feet on the ground as you're taking off? They hit you in the back of the calves. But they're in a good placement though for riding on, you know, as the driver. Brakes are so powerful, they're almost a little creepy. It must have been that hill though. Oh, I was telling you I was concerned about the link braking and all that stuff, and it's not link braking where it's a physical thing like Honda uses on their Goldwing. You know, it's based on pressure, and you know, there's like brake lines going everywhere because you know, the more pressure you put on the front, the caliper pivots and pushes a little master cylinder, which sends feedback to the rear. It's really complex and how it works. It's if you work on motorcycles, you bled the brakes on a 1800 Goldwing, you'll know how complex it is. There's a very specific order in which you bleed those things. It's not very it's not as straightforward as what you might think. You need to either be practice on it or have a manual in front of you, because you're going to make a mistake, guaranteed. But anyway, the brakes on this is all controlled by the ABS and the ABS computer. So for the most part, it leaves it alone unless you do something aggressive, and then it interacts. So, you know, I notice it working. Like if you grab a handful of brakes, all of a sudden you'll notice it working. You guys want to see what 100 miles an hour is like on this thing? That's a 6-gear roll on. That was 5th gear. That's 95. I'm coming into these trees. I don't want a deer. What's the top speed on these things? Man, 95 was nothing on this thing. I would imagine it's probably like most Harleys. It's about a $120, and that's where she ends. Man, all I can see is a deer dum, dum, bouncing out of a bush, you know. That was pretty creepy with that deer, though. I just kind of rolled my head back and just kind of went, oh, because I wasn't in that shade and it felt so good. I just kind of go, oh. And all of a sudden, something's not only running beside me, but running faster than me. I wasn't going that fast, but hell, I bet I was at least going 40. I didn't realize the damn deer could run that fast. Of course, it was probably scared out of its wits as well. Well, if it was deathly scared, I can relate, because that scared the hell out of me. You ever have those situations on the bike where there's no question you're about to wad it up? You know, you know that this is going to be a wreck. Well, that was one of those. I was going to tangle up with 2 deers, and those, you know, you just kind of, you don't really wonder what the crash is going to be like. You just kind of like, you know, for that brief moment, it's like, how's it all going to go down kind of a thing. But the crazy thing is it startled me so much. I didn't do anything but just let go of the gas. I didn't even hit the brakes. It was kind of one of those, just like somebody hit you with a stun gun kind of a thing. It's all so brief. I always think it's interesting how everything slows down in your head, and the thing plays back in your head, and that deer is just kind of running beside you, and you're thinking, you know, is it going to cut across because it's going faster than me? Is it going to cut across? Is it going to freak and bounce, land in my lap or something, you know, or, you know, jump so hard it knocks me off? Oh boy, you got your right in the sun. Yeah, it's pretty much going to stay this way for the rest of the way home too. The days are getting shorter. The sunset's like 8:40 now. It's so sad. Shit, it seems like it was 9:40 just the other day. And that would it get somewhere around 9:35, 9:40, I think, around summer solstice, somewhere around there. Hell, that's over a month away, a month and a half away, dang near. But anyway, most of this is gonna kind of put you in the sun, and I think I've pretty much vlogged myself out. I'm kind of in that mode where I just want to get home, you know. Do you know that feeling? That's kind of the point I'm at. Well, there's been quite a few motorcycle accidents in this turn right here, because people will pull out of the side road and the kids come racing down through here when their crotch rockets come flying around this turn, and there'll be a car pulling out right here, and oh, it doesn't end well. I remember hearing a bunch of bikes flying by, and I mean, and the crazy thing, this is how this worked out. It was really crazy. There's a whole patch of them, and then it's just like moments later I hear, you know, police and the ambulance and everything else flying by. For some reason I just had this like sinking feeling, you know, this ain't well, you know. And that corner is pretty famous for, you know, and how many people, there's only just a handful of houses out here. How many people would be coming out of that road? But I guess, you know, just that chance. But anyway, I jumped on my old DR, that old 93 I had, and I drove and I turned, came down this way, and it was a lone biker. It was it was black and red. It was a ZX10. Remember, it was black and red. And yeah, whoever it was, the guy didn't make it. Killed him. So the road for the longest time was all painted up. You know how the police do their investigation, and it's all tagged and marked and everything. So it just kind of gave you that eerie feeling when you came around that corner. Some guy lost his life there. But the one thing that kind of bothers me is, and you know, unless for some reason, you know, it just sounded like he was with the pack and he wasn't, but it sounded like a whole pack of guys. So you think, you know, his buddies would go, hey, he's gone, and turn around and come look for him. But there was nobody. Hey, since there's nothing here, I'll stop right quick and I'll show you the I put the mounting hardware and brackets for, tell you what I'll do, we'll whiz across the street and turn around and stop on that side. What do you think of that? But see, it's such a long straightaway, people just come bombing through here, and they take that turn down there and end it. That's a chicken, big old chicken farm right there. You know, what's amazing is I never smell them. You think you would. But anyway, this is the This is the wings I was telling you about. And I was really concerned they would be hideously unsightly, but they just kind of blend in. The only time they're funky looking is like I left them turned in when I got to work, and I kept looking over at the bike and that looked weird. But the luggage rack is on back order until the 14th of August. And I went back and forth on whether to get the chrome mounting hardware or the black mounting hardware. I ended up going with the black. And I thought it came with the little magnetic cups, but it didn't. So I'll have to get those separate. And with the little black magnetic cups, there's a magnet in the bottom of the cup, and they pop on, and it disguises the mounting hardware. And then I had a choice between the black or the chrome mount. The sissy bar came with a black one, but the pad came with the chrome one, and I put the chrome one there because it just mixed in well. So anyway, I'm just gonna leave it on there. Them things are so handy. And it took me forever. This one's called the top stitch, and it matches the Specials seat pattern perfectly. So, and I don't know if Kelly said she didn't kick it, but it looks like it's got a boot scratch across it. But that'll wear away with use. So anyway, on that, I'm gonna kick up my passenger pegs, and I'm gonna sign off for the night. I'm gonna head down the road here a few miles and call it a day. So we'll chit chat with you guys later. The GPS is like, yeah, maybe it's this way. I don't know. I guess that's almost right. I'm at the road at a little bit of an angle. But anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. And hell, that's a damn 30-minute video there. So thank you for the final time. Thank you for watching and hanging out on the old Street Glide. I'm gonna ride the Spider tomorrow because my part should come up, and I'm just gonna ride that. It's a long drive up there, and that Spider's crazy comfortable, and that's a 2-hour drive in the headwind. That's just more comfortable than that. I got more room. I can throw stuff in there. So I'm gonna be spidering it tomorrow and heading up to the Harley shop if the parts come in like they predict. If not, I'll do it the next day or the day after or whatever. But almost 800 miles, and I got a couple hundred miles, and I've got my oil, all my oils. I got my MotorX 10W50 for the engine, the Redline synthetic transmission stuff, and Redline chain case, this side, chain case oil. So and I got swung by and got myself a genuine Harley oil filter, so I'm set. I even bought an oil filter wrench when I was at the motorcycle shop last time. It's the same ones we can get, but this one has a Harley stamp on it. So anyway, I'll see you guys. Take care now. And for the final time, thank you very much. Take care. You guys have a wonderful night or day, whatever time you're watching this. Take care now. Bye.